If you haven't been told this, you are living in a miracle and your cells are ready to heal you. Your cells are ready to be their best, but they need you to understand the concept of autophagy and know how to stimulate autophagy so you can turn that healing effect on. Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, I am going to do two things for you. One, I want to talk about why fasting speeds healing up, and so many of you guys are experiencing it. And two, if you are familiar with our fast training weeks, this video, I'm going to talk about the fast that we'll be doing for the next fast training week, which will absolutely speed the healing process up and help you lose weight. I want to show you why that principle works. So let me just start off by saying welcome to those of you that are new. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and those of you that share the videos, I'm always grateful, as I am on a mission to make sure that we get 1 million people fasting this year so the world can be a healthier and happier place. So welcome everybody, excited to have you here. Okay, I'm going to dive into answering the question why fasting speeds up healing first, and then I want to talk about what we will be doing for our fast training week next week. And those of you that love the information we put out, I do have a companion guide. So just put companion guide in the notes. It's free, and everything we're doing for fast training week next week will be in that. Women, if you guys need more assistance with fasting and your hormones, we are about to start a new reset in May, and it's all geared around teaching women how to fast for her hormonal needs, for her cycle. So just put May reset in your comments and we'll send you a link to that. Okay, let's answer this question about fasting speeding up healing. So there are two mechanisms, well, there's probably more than that, but there's two that I like to speak about that happen when you start to fast that makes your healing power get turned on in your body. It supercharges your body. So the first one we know are ketones. When you are operating from this fat burning place, your body makes ketones. Ketones go up into the brain and they start to heal neurons that may have been injured. But the second principle that I think is so important that we talk about is this concept of autophagy. So remember, autophagy is a naturally occurring state inside your cells where you trigger your cells and you tell your cells to start repairing themselves. So if you just stop for a moment and you think about how powerful that concept is, you are going to create with fasting a scenario where you will speed healing up inside the cell by stimulating autophagy. Now, you will see as we go through the basics of autophagy over the next week, there are a lot of ways to stimulate autophagy. On this video, I'm going to talk about some of the foods that we now know will stimulate autophagy, but we also know fasting stimulates autophagy. There's certain exercises that stimulate autophagy. When you sleep, you're stimulating autophagy. So when we want to speed healing up, when we want to repair the body, we want to look at all of these incredible ways we have to stimulate autophagy so that the body can self-repair. If you haven't been told this, you are living in a miracle and your cells are ready to heal you. Your cells are ready to be their best, but they need you to understand the concept of autophagy and know how to stimulate autophagy so you can turn that healing effect on. So, fasting's my favorite way to do this, and there are some key principles you're going to apply next week to stimulate autophagy. The first principle is your fasting window. So next week, we are going to be fasting every single day for 17 hours. Why 17? Because the research shows that at 17 hours without food, you start to turn on autophagy. Now, I want you to realize that this is like a dimmer switch. It's not like the other switches I talk about with fasting. This is where we start to slowly turn up the dial on autophagy. That begins at 17 hours. What will signal autophagy to get turned on is your blood sugar going down and ketones starting to go up. So if you want to turn on this healing power, 17 hours. Now, there's a lot of study and debates and conversations around, well, what's the peak of autophagy? How long do you have to fast to get there? So I have videos on that next week that I'll be talking about. But for this fast training week, we're going to start with 17. Those of you that are really experts at fasting, you could even go up to 24. But I want you to start 17 hours of fasting. Second concept of autophagy that we're going to apply next week is that when your blood sugar goes up, you can often kick yourself out of autophagy. So what we like to do in autophagy fast training weeks is we like to have you fast for 17 hours and then break that fast with fat. So you're looking at an avocado. You guys know I'm a big fan of keto cups. You're looking at ghee and nut butters. You can put some, big douse of MCT oil or Andreas seed oils on a spoon so that you can start to just break it with fat. And the reason for that is fat will stabilize your blood sugar and kill your hunger hormone. So if we know autophagy gets turned on at 17 hours, we break our fast with fat, we kill hunger, we don't bring the blood sugar up. Now we're still in autophagy, but we're not hungry, we're feeling good, and we're still able to eat something. So break it with fat. The second principle that we use in autophagy fasting is we keep our protein under 20 grams. So the cells get, autophagy turns off when we eat more than 20 grams of protein. So it doesn't matter if it's animal protein or not, but for the fast training week next week, we're doing 20 grams of protein, keeping it under 20 grams. Now let's walk you through this idea. So we've got you fasting for 17 hours. We've turned on autophagy. Love that. We have you breaking your fast with fat, but your blood sugar stayed the same. So now you're 18, 19, 20 hours in, you're still in autophagy. And then if you do not raise your protein over 20 grams, you will still stay in autophagy, and you could be in autophagy all next week. And so think of it as you stay in this healing effect for 5 days. That's incredible to your body. It's incredible to your cells. So that's why we use those principles. The last principle I'll tell you that is also important is keeping your carbohydrates under 50 grams. And the reason for that is that if you go over 15 grams of carbohydrates, you tend to move yourself back to sugar burner, and you tend to spike your blood sugar. When you go back to sugar burner and you spike your blood sugar, you're now out of autophagy. So the principles for next fast training week to speed this healing process up inside your body is to keep you in autophagy for 5 days. Now, I want to add in 2 other pieces on this video that I found that are really interesting that will accelerate your autophagy experience next week. One, I want you to lean into some of the drinks that you might already be using that will be helpful to keep you in autophagy. MCT oil is one of them. I like Dave's Bulletproof C8 oil. We'll put links. It's in our companion guide, so just put companion guide and there'll be links for that. You're going to want to put a tablespoon of that in your coffee in the morning. Organic, mold-free coffee can also stimulate autophagy. So you got MCT oil going in your coffee. You're now accelerating this healing effect. Now, what if you don't like coffee? You could do green tea or bergamot tea. Bergamot tea is in Earl Grey tea. Make sure it's organic again. You put your MCT oil in there, and now you are increasing autophagy. Okay, so we're leaning into all these concepts for 5 days. The last thing I'm going to tell you is that there are some foods that will help with autophagy, and they all fall under the category of spermidine foods. This has nothing to do with sperm. It's pretty funny that it's called spermidine, but there's a lot of really cool spermidine foods. Let me read them to you. Soybeans, make sure they're organic. Lentils, green peas, aged cheese, raw would be better. Potatoes, chicken, pears, all kinds of mushrooms. And what we're finding is that those foods are helping stimulate autophagy, and we see it specifically in liver dysfunction, liver cancer, stagnation of liver, fatty liver disease, that when we use fasting, when we use the principles of autophagy fasting that I just mentioned, and we lean into these spermidine foods, then we start to accelerate the healing response inside your liver. So, and that's just one example. So that's next week. We're gonna tap into this healing effect of autophagy. Let me know, put in the comments if you're joining us for Fast Training Week. And as always, do not give up on yourself. You're a miracle, and autophagy will help you discover that.